2-3 days back. We said that there would be CMD sitting at the top, followed by the directors, that they will be followed by the departmental heads or middle management people, assisted by assistant managers and other subordinates who are there. So these are not really telling you, apart from the job holder's title and other things, as to what exactly they do. Another chart that is there, which is similar to the chart that is, information that is there in organization chart, a chart that shows the flow of inputs and outputs that is there. If the answer is not there in these two types of chart, the only way we can get the answer is through job analysis data. Therefore, wherever our organizational chart or flow chart fails to provide data, that has to be sought in the job analysis data. The methods of data collection, there are many. The first well-known method of data collection is through interview. This interview can be individually with the employees, with the group of employees who are there, or it can also be with the supervisor who knows the job well. Now, these are the three sources of information that is there. Now, in terms of advantage of interview, we all know that it is quick and direct way of collecting information, and even overlooked information can be collected here. Is that if the source wishes to distort information, then there is no control on it. That is, if the employee or the group of employees or supervisor do not provide right kind of information, data that is collected by the job analysis personnel would be of no use. Interview formats, if you look at, can be structured checklist. Now, there is a difference between questionnaire and a checklist. Checklist does not really put down the questions. It only jots down the points on which you are going to delve upon in the interview. And it is completely unstructured. This is not structured that you have got to ask the first question first, the question at the seventh point. Here, any question can be asked at any point of time. Right. The interview guidelines that is provided, if you look at the job analyst and supervisor work together to identify the workers who know the job best. We're going to ask questions, wisdom of these two people, that is the job analyst and the supervisor with whom daily interacts time to time, and therefore these two have got to work together. Establishment of rapport with the interviewing is very, very important. You have got to put them at ease. Question right in the beginning, so there will be questions which can make them feel at home first. Once you have established the rapport, then start asking questions, not before that. One has to follow a structured guide and or checklist, one that lists open-ended questions as well as closes and ended question at times, but most question will be open-ended and provides a space for the interviewee to answer those questions. It will also be that we will ask workers to list his or her duties in order of importance and frequency of occurrence. So those occurring jobs may not be included as far as job analysis is concerned. And after completing the interview, review and verify data that if there is anything left out, and if that is there, you must complete that before moving off. Of job data collection is through questionnaires. Now also referred to sometimes as instruments, right? These are instruments for selection of employee. These are instruments for collecting data in the organizations. These instruments have to be developed and it has to be foolproof. Foolproof because it should be tested for its validity. It has to be tested for its reliability. Seen that you have gone through the process of refining the questionnaire, before you administer them. Even before administration, we may need to refine it by doing a pilot survey, and the result of pilot survey will lead you as to which question to retain and which question to remove. So all these are the processes that you may read in your research methodology paper when you will do that in the second semester, I suppose. But for the time being, just understand that we have got to refine the questionnaire, validate the questionnaire, and we also have got to not only validate, we also have got to look at as to how reliable it is by doing reliability tests, which are statistical tests done through collection if you are doing manually, or it is being done by using certain softwares like SPSS and others. Information source on the questionnaire will be have employee fill out these questionnaires. So it will be sent to the employees, or it will be distributed among the employees, or it will be given to the heads who in turn will distribute to the employees. Now the questionnaires to describe their job related duties and responsibilities. So these questionnaires will have a biographical information. It will have data, where you are asking may not be about the names, job that the holder is doing. You will be asking about the age of the individual. You may ask about the income of that particular individual, about the marital status of those individuals, which will be having an impact on the a job of that particular person. Format can be structured checklist, open-ended question that is there. Advantage of questionnaire would be that it is quick and efficient way of gathering or collecting data from large number of employees at the same time. That is, once you have distributed it, or you have gone through the monkey survey that is being done through computers, or there are various programs on computers through which we can send questionnaire to people who in turn may fill up online and return that to you. The advantage of this particular exercise of collecting data from through questionnaire is that it can be expensive, it can be time consuming as far as preparing and testing of these questionnaires are concerned. It's not so much the end which is expensive, it is the beginning, as I mentioned, that you need to refine and refine questionnaire by doing factor analysis. Drop certain questionnaires which are having agent value of less than 0.5, or you have to then do validity and reliability of that data, which is very, very important. Now the third method of data collection would be through observation method. These observers are normally the experts. Now, observation is a direct method of data collection, as we all know. Now, this is observing and noting the physical activities of employee as they go about doing it. The observer will be sitting before those persons who are doing the job and observe and note down the points. Disadvantage is that advantage is that it is the first-hand information that will be collected, and it reduces distortion because the data collector or job analyst will collect data faithfully. But disadvantage is that it is time consuming, and it will be very, very difficult to capture data if the job involves the mind game, lots of information that is there. If you are using your mind to do the job, then this data cannot be collected. It can only collect data for physical activity which are visible. And this will be of little value, which involves high level of mental activity, as we mentioned. And data collection would be difficult by the observation and may not be useful. The fourth source of data is through diary of the participants. The workers have got to write a diary, or they have got to write a logbook. But this is only used where job works are being involved, or a small quantity of manual jobs are involved, not so much for the job if you are doing it on machine or something. that is very, very difficult to capture. Information source would be workers keep a chronological diary or log of what they do and the time that they have spent on doing that job. So for example, an accounting job is being done by the accounting clerks or the chartered accountants, right? That can be captured through a log or a diary, or a computer programming that is being done by the employees. That can be captured through this login. But other jobs, managerial jobs, cannot be captured through log or the diary of that particular individual that is there. The advantage of log or diary is that it releases more complete picture of the job that the person is doing, and the employee participation is direct. This is the only method where you have a direct participation. Otherwise, there are indirect participations. The disadvantage is that distortion of information is very, very easy in this, and it depends upon employee to accurately recall their activities, because these diaries or logs are written either at the end of the day or at the end of the week, and human memory is very, very short. They only remember or record those things which they have done recently, and even recalling the time as to how much time was spent on this would be very, very difficult, because it is not online real-time capturing of data. This is offline batch processing method of collecting data, and therefore distortion is quite a lot in this. Then we also have got quantitative job analysis techniques which are being followed. There are a large number of it that is being followed, not so popular in India, because these methods are popular in US and European countries, where we talk about PAQ. We talk about DOL, which is used in US, and you have got functional job analysis, which are done even in India. If you look at, once you have done this job analysis, what will you do? You will have got to write a job description from the job analysis data, which is the outcome of job analysis, right? Now, job description is a written statement of what the workers actually does, how he or she does it, and what the job's working conditions are. So we're talking about three things basically, right? How a person, he or she performs the job, and what is the working condition of that job, and what the workers are actually doing. So this will basically help as far as the job description is concerned, that we are capturing data which are very, very important in terms of job analysis, right? Hello, are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now the sections of a typical
Yes,
job
sir.
description,
Yes,
sections
sir.
of a typical job description would be job identification, job summary, responsibilities and duties that they are scale 4. Similarly, the job description, you are falling under the multi-purpose employee, or are you falling under the clerical employee, Are you talking about that is the C category employee, or are you talking about B category employee, or are you falling under A category employee, or are you falling under the executive category of employee? Please switch off your mic. That is disturbing. Please switch off your mics, please. Switch off your mics, please. Right. The job summary describes the general nature of the job, lists the major functions or activities. Friends, please switch off your mic. It is disturbing. Right. Somebody is moving in the market, keeping his mobile in the pocket. Is logged in. The relationship job description would be who reports to whom in terms of employees' immediate supervisors. The supervisors will be employees that the job incumbent directly supervises. It will also be works with others with whom the job holder will be expected to work, and outside the company, others with whom they are going to interact. We also look at the responsibilities and duties of these employees, a listing of job major responsibilities. It defines limits of job holders' decision-making authority, that is the direct supervision, and budgetary limits. It also talks about standard occupational classifications. Like we said, in the 6th Pay Commission, we had 4 classifications that was being done, and each category would have a large number of jobs which was being clubbed in, right? Similarly, is the job function essential? That has to be written in the job description that is there. Now, once we have written these details which are there, a typical job description of a sister who is working in an organization can be assumed as to what she or he will be doing. Now, once we have done this job description, we look at the job specifications. Hello? Somebody has got a mic open. Would you close that mic, please? Would you close the mic?
Sir, he is not listening.
No.
Sir, you can put him on mute from your side also.
No, how can I do? Who is doing it? I don't know. Okay, let me see whose mics are on.
Sir Lavnesh.
Lavnesh is okay, and this guy is also having his mic open. Right, is there anybody? This gentleman is also to be removed now.
Sir, now okay.
RS is there. RS,
Yes, sir.
you please mute,
Sir,
please.
my mic is off, sir.
No. RS, your mic was not off. Okay.
Sir, he was Lavnesh.
Yeah, I got it. It was Lavnesh who was doing it. Is it visible now? No?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We are talking about writing job specification, is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, writing a job specification for trained personnel that is focused on traits like length of previous service, quality of relevant training, and previous job performance. Specifications for untrained personnel that is there, where focus will be on physical traits, personality interests, sensory skills that imply that potential for performing or for being trained to do the job is there. We also have got writing job specification which is based on the judgment, where self-created judgment can be used. which is more to do with the common sense of the writer. It will also talk about list of competencies that is identified. It can be online or offline. Or we also have got job specification based on statistical analysis. That is, statistical analysis is being done and attempt to determine statistically the relationship between predictor or human traits which is there. This is normally used when we are having it, when we recruit people. We recruit people based on predictor variable, and once the person is performing, we have got to compare that. Similarly, we have predictors for the performance of individuals in the organizations, and the way they are performing it would be important. Right. Steps in a statistical approach would be analyze the job and decide how to measure job performance, select personal traits that you can believe you should predict successful performance, test candidates for these traits, measure the candidate's subsequent job performance, and statistically analyze the relationship between human traits and job performance. Now, these human traits are wide and varied, therefore, when we are writing it, these will be the steps, that is, decide on a plan, develop an organization chart, use job analysis or description questionnaire, and obtain list of job duties and responsibilities. And compliance is also very, very important. And at the end, complete the job description. Now, this is a note for you. Let me go to job specification. Now these terms that you need to learn, that is there. What is job enlargement and what is job enrichment? It is such that we are assigning workers additional same level activities, thus increasing the number of activities they perform. Assigning workers same level of job. So if an assistant manager is working, he will be given job of another assistant manager which is at the same level, and increase the number of activities so that the person, if not promoted, may feel more powerful. A job enrichment as against enlargement is a theory that was given by Herzberg, a management scientist, basically a psychologist, who talked about redesigning jobs in a way that increases the opportunity for the workers to exercise feeling of responsibility or challenge, feeling of achievement and growth and recognition by the organization that he's being